On the next Lifestyle magazine, there are herbs that naturally make you feel better. But there are herbs in combination with other herbs that naturally make you sick.
This is Hello Channel.
More people than ever before are turning to the healing found in nature's nutrients, and many are achieving success with herbal remedies. But with so many herbs available, people need to practice caution in their choices, because not only can herbs heal, but they also may do great harm. Today, Clifton Davis and Tammy McGrew will talk to experts about using herbs wisely, and we'll meet two people whose response to using herbs is truly amazing. I'm Dan Matthews, and you're watching Lifestyle Magazine.
We are pleased to have with us today Amanda McQuaid Crawford. Now, she is the author of Herbal Remedies for Women and the Herbal Menopause book. She's also president of the American College of Integrative Medicine in Albuquerque. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you very much.
Herbs and women. Do herbs react differently with men and women?
I don't know that they react differently in men than they do with women, but there are herbs that we have known about for many, many years that are specific for some of the problems that women typically have. And there are other herbs that would be very useful for the kinds of things that men might experience in their lives. However, men and women have the same basic human biology, and so some of the herbs that are called women's herbs will be useful in men, but they'll have different effects because
Now,
we are
integrative medicine, does that mean that you're a practitioner as a physician, normal physician, and using holistic treatment?
It's a good question. Integrative medicine suggests that we are integrating the best of all possible worlds. Now, we understand that there are problems with conventional medicine, and there are also problems with holistic medicine. There needs to be a bridging so that we can have the best of both worlds, so that when somebody has an issue, somebody's health is challenged in some way, that we choose exactly what is going to bring healing to them without giving too much, without overdoing surgery or drugs, and without overdoing herbal remedies and supplements of that kind.
What is an herbalist?
An herbalist is someone who understands plants and their effects in the body. Because there are so many different definitions of herbalist, it could mean somebody who gardens and is deeply in tune with nature. It could be a biochemist in a lab who's extracting the active constituents from a plant and synthesizing them or purifying them so that we have standardized extracts that can be used in hospital settings.
Now, when I go to buy a book, I decide I'm going to take echinacea for my cold.
Yes.
And I go to buy a book, and the shelf is packed with them, everybody claiming to be an expert on herbs. I've kind of just decided to wash my hands of all of it. and then on top of it, you go, and there's 25 million manufacturers for these, and you don't know what's out of somebody's backyard and what's really done well. How am I supposed to know that I can trust you, or what book I can trust?
It's a very good question. It's baffling out there, isn't it?
Yes.
It's difficult for consumers because there is such a tremendous market. There's so much money being made that you have companies who are putting a lot of money into advertising, very slick packaging, and you don't, as a consumer, always have the controls over what it is that you're buying off the shelf. Now, who do you trust? That question really is a difficult one to answer as well. We're really looking for companies that have some kind of longevity, that have quality control, that have pharmacists on their staff that are able to provide documentation about the safety of their herbs and about the validity of what's in fact inside the bottle.
So you believe that herbs, they do make a difference. They should be used.
Absolutely, herbs should be used. But there's a point to using herbs wisely rather than using them in a shotgun approach. And here in America, we have a very different kind of atmosphere around the use of herbs than in other parts of the world, where there's a little bit more common sense, perhaps, and not so much advertising that that will sway the public to go and buy St. John's wort for everybody, when in fact, not everybody will do well
Okay,
on
I'm
St.
getting
John's
a hot
wort.
flash, and I'm hitting mental pause. Now, What
Mental
do I,
pause?
Mental pause, yes.
Mental
pause. What do I do? Do I run to you or do I go to my OBGYN doc? And what do I do?
It's a very good question. You know, there are doctors who are interested in learning about natural remedies, supplements, vitamins, and herbs. And there are also herbalists like myself who work with conventional medical people so that you can get the best possible
So you should do them
care.
together.
If you are not happy with the advice you've gotten from any healthcare provider, it's really wise to shop around and to find somebody who listens to you and who also gives you something that does in fact work and seems to have the kind of credentials that would allow you to place some reasonable trust in their advice.
Now, Tammy, you know, in America, we don't have the same kind of restraints on putting herbs in a bottle and selling them that some other places may, and that's been a question. Perhaps we can touch on it right now. We've got a minute. What about that? We don't have the same restrictions per the FDA for herbs that we do for chemically created medications.
Well, it's a difficult thing. There are some restraints, and many of the good manufacturers follow what's called good manufacturing practice. There are voluntary organizations of some of the more reputable herb companies so that they can decide about policing themselves and agreeing on standards of ethics in the industry. But certainly there isn't any law forcing a new herb manufacturer that pops up down the street to join that organization and abide by those kinds of guidelines.
So I could grow some stuff in the backyard.
No, you cannot grow stuff.
Come on, sure, I could grow it in the backyard. I could package it up. I mean, if I saw some results with it, I mean, my mother used to pick leaves off the sassafras tree and make tea, and it had, you know, some benefit. Coming up, one of America's leading experts on herbs talks about the potential dangers of some herbs. Don't go away.
Looking for a brighter future? Learn English and make it happen on Hello Channel.
Dr. Logan Chamberlain is a radio talk show host and author of What the Labels Won't Tell You, a consumer guide to herbal supplements. Thanks for being here, Dr. Chamberlain. We're talking about herbs, and we hear so much these days. St. John's wort, echinacea. What do the labels not tell you?
That's probably the most important thing, is what they don't tell you, because they've been restricted very tightly by the FDA in what they can say and what kind of claims they can make on the label.
I've got to bump in there.
I do too, because she said they weren't very well regulated.
I heard that they're not very well regulated at the FDA.
Well, the herbs themselves are not regulated, but what they can say on the bottle is. Isn't
So
that
they
interesting?
can make anything, but they don't.
Sure, you can cut up grass in your backyard and put it in a pill, just like you were talking about before, and you can sell it as chlorophyll, for example.
See, but that's what I think they're all doing, so that's why I don't buy them.
Well, they're not. You know, there are some really good, legitimate products out
So
there.
how do you figure out who's a good company?
That's the hard part. And that's really why I wrote this book.
Is that
you
in
know.
this book?
Yes.
Who are you? So you recommend?
I actually have a
companies?
list of companies in there that I recommend, and I think that they're very good. I've actually visited their manufacturing facilities, looked at their quality control processes, looked at how they manufacture, package, and you know, they quarantine, they take and put batch numbers on there. The reason I wrote the book, to be honest with you, is because I have the same kind of problems you have right now, the same confusion. I went to the health food store because I'd heard about herbs. I'd been taking herbs, but I made them myself. So I could trust what I made myself, and I knew what I was taking. So I went out there to get echinacea, and I went in there, and there were 7 or 8 different brands of echinacea, and there were 3 or 4 different types of ways you could take them.
And then they add it to Golden Seal. And
Oh,
you
yeah,
think, well,
Golden
maybe
Seal.
that's better because it's got Golden Seal in it.
But it's really
don't
not.
you get into that same problem again, Tammy, where you don't know what chemical elements, what constituent parts of this thing could conflict with the other herb you're taking? So in taking 2 opposing herbs, you could cause yourself problems.
There is a possibility of that. You know, there were some diet products that were on the market that were very dangerous. And they were used in really inappropriate ways by teenagers, and they took them, and you know, there were some major problems from doing that. The use of ephedra with caffeine mixed together in large quantities, you know,
You can't even
it's very
buy
dangerous.
Sudafed now. They've taken it all.
They've taken it off, right?
And you have to go get it.
That's true.
So I want to know what herbs you take, and I want to know what you take.
Well, every morning I take some echinacea.
Every morning.
Not every morning. I take echinacea though in the cold and flu season.
Okay.
Just to stimulate my immune system. I take saw palmetto, which is a men's herb, and I take a standardized extract of saw palmetto with nettle root in it. And the reason I'm doing that is I don't want prostate problems. I'm using that to prevent and be well and be healthy.
Is that what the saw palmetto
That's what saw
is?
palmetto does for men.
Okay.
There's wonderful studies out there, medical research on it, that's proven to be superior to any prescription drug that you can take.
They're dealing with
a prostate problem like benign prostate hyperplasia, for example, which is just a swelling of the prostate.
So would you, either of you, do you recommend herbs before regular medicine?
Depends on the problem, depends on the condition.
Depends on the person, absolutely.
Well, give me an example of a person or a problem.
Well,
that,
if I have a parent whose child has had recurrent ear infections and they're reluctant to have a course of antibiotics and they are interested in alternatives, we can look at changing that child's diet, in decreasing the kinds of mucus or catarrh production, increasing that child's natural immunity so that there is less of a need for the antibiotics. And that's not replacing medicine, that's actually increasing wellness. And in relationship to your other question about how herbs might be used, whether they're instead of medicine or before medicine, it's really a matter of looking at the individual and seeing what is appropriate. There isn't anything to say that something natural that grows out of the ground is better or superior than something that has been synthesized in a lab. We're looking at what is most appropriate.
quickly, we've heard a lot about broccoli and how that has been the elements of broccoli.
George Bush liked that a lot.
Oh, no. I love broccoli. I mean, it's delicious.
With ranch dressing.
Well, either, that's raw,
No, it's gotta have
I like
ranch.
it cooked.
Okay.
You can put melted cheese on top of it
Yeah,
for me.
then it's good.
Unless you're against dairy products. But I understand it has anti-carcinogen products.
Yes.
Maybe we can get into that. When we come back, one man's truly amazing story about how herbs may have saved his life, and a woman who used herbs to heal infection.
Hello.
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 Welcome back. We're talking about how herbs can make us well. 3 years ago, Roby Klein was diagnosed with hepatitis C and was not expected to live very long. Roby, how did you come to find out about it?
Well, basically, I was extremely fatigued and tired, couldn't hardly get through the day. I had water gain or ascites throughout the body. My mental disorientation was extreme. Couldn't work.
So you went to an herbalist?
I was a mutual friend of ours. When I say a mutual friend of Amanda's, referred me to her, and at first I balked at it.
Yes, if somebody said, I know a good herbalist and you're really sick, I'd say thank you very much.
Or perhaps your primary care physician recommended alternative medicine.
No.
Is
Not
that
likely.
the way?
No way. No, actually, they referred me to UCLA, which is excellent.
Did you
facility.
tell your primary care physician you were going to go to an herbalist?
Yes, I did.
And what did that physician say?
They
Go
said,
for
go
it?
ahead, try
You're
it.
going to die anyway, right?
Well, they didn't say I was going to die. Thank you. That minute.
Hey, there's no hope. Use an herbalist.
There's no hope. Go to an
I
herbalist.
am really, really glad he's alive sitting here, okay?
No, I know.
No,
But I mean, I've seen doctors do that. They go, there's nothing we can do for you, so fine, go to an herbalist. What can it hurt?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I went to Amanda, and immediately, it was probably within 2 weeks, I was off of the Lasix, which is the diuretics,
Right.
taking natural diuretics, dandelion root.
Can I ask Amanda, why would it be better to do a natural diuretic than a Lasix? Because I mean,
Lasix works.
yeah.
That's right. Well, so does dandelion leaf. One of the things about that particular diuretic that we used with Roby is that it's rich in potassium, and diuretics are very
They strip
notorious
you of
for stripping you of
potassium.
potassium, which you really need for
Right.
electrolyte balance. And so by using a dandelion leaf extract, we not only had the diuretic effect very safely, but we were also having a net gain of
Now,
healthy
why
potassium.
would a physician not do this?
Well, there's quite a lot of
instead of it?
information about dandelion leaf, but it's such a humble plant, and truly, it takes so many millions of dollars to patent a drug. They're not likely to take dandelion leaf and invest millions of dollars.
Why would they not do that if it's better
Most people
than
try to
Lasix?
kill dandelions in their yard. you
Right,
know?
which is very sad. So there isn't really the recoupment. You can't get your investment back
So
from
they're not
taking
going
a
to make
humble
money?
plant. Correct.
Is that the deal?
Yes,
they're not
that's
going
right.
to make
It's
money on it.
economics, that's right.
It's economics.
Yes.
Roby,
Plus training and education.
Roby, I want to go a little further with this healing. We've got about 1 minute. What did you see as a change in you as a result of taking herbs?
Well, obviously, right away I felt a much more positive attitude about being able to live a little bit longer and have a life that was meaningful. I have 2 young kids, and I thought that was very important at the time.
Now, after taking the herbs, did you go back to your primary care
absolutely.
physician and have him re-examine you?
Absolutely.
And give you a different prognosis? And what was his word?
Well, basically, you know, I'm still on the liver transplant list at UCLA, but it seems that I'm a little bit early. My counts, my blood counts, liver counts are down. 2 of them are basically in the normal area. I've got problems
Is he
still.
impressed?
It's hard to impress a doctor.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm
You know.
extremely impressed.
That's fabulous.
Next, a woman who's used herbs successfully for 13 years. In fact, herbs helped heal a leg wound.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Trudy Huberman initially saw Amanda McQuaid Crawford for a leg wound. Why would you go to an herbalist or a practitioner for a leg wound?
Well, I originally had had a surgery to repair some damage to my leg from a skiing injury. And the supposed slam dunk procedure turned into a nightmare because I continued to have an infection on my leg. I was exasperated, and I had been involved with herbs for a long time and was referred to Amanda mostly because I no longer trusted my physician.
Well, now, was that where they made an incision? It
was an
never healed properly because it was infected?
That's
Were
correct.
they invasive?
That's correct. After a couple of weeks, it really should have healed, and I should have just been going through physical therapy.
Yes.
But things got very complicated, and my doctor just kept looking at me and saying, don't worry, this is not that unusual, and you don't have that much body fat, and don't be concerned about it. And I knew that something was not right.
Now, when you treat, Amanda, something like this, so are we using topical herbs, not just herbs that we're taking orally to treat something? Both.
It was a combination.
So herbs are not just to take orally, they are to use
Topically as
topically
well.
also.
Oh,
Yes.
they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I'm
the old
proud of
folks
that.
just say, put a little poultice on there. If you got a sore back here, I was going to put some of this on you. Ooh, that's mud, but suddenly you're well.
Well, in
Tell us
fact, that's
about
what
that.
she
What's the
did.
practical
what she did?
reality
Yes.
of that?
Yes, she says that's what she did.
That's exactly what she ended up doing.
Well,
What happened was
She's not an old
there was an area that simply was not healing that the doctor could not figure out why it wasn't healing. Amanda and I both felt instinctively that there was something inside of the leg that was trying to find its way to the surface. As it turned out, through the fact that she was using a poultice on me and trying to get
Draw
the area
out.
to open up and to draw out, combined with the fact that she was giving me herbs so that my immune system was boosted, because I was absolutely dealing with an infection that could have gone to my bone.
something came out?
Yes, it was a stitch, because I was allergic to the stitching material
so
that
they
they
left
did, yes.
Well.
And they kept telling me that it was nothing, and Amanda knew that there was something in there that was trying to
And the
find
herbs
its way
brought
out.
a stitch out?
Absolutely.
That's a pretty powerful herb. What was that herb?
It was a combination of calendula, and we used several things at different times, but we were mainly preventing infection, and we were wanting to improve the body's ability to expel material without causing more inflammation and damage.
Now this calendula, this is what they just were going to give us
Yeah,
the
they were gonna
hand
give us a
lotion
little
on.
cream.
But
In fact,
why
I'm
would you
looking at
use
my
that
hands
if
right
you
now.
don't have a wound? Is that good for something like that too?
It's actually a very good herb for a number of reasons. Dr. Chamberlain can speak more about calendula.
Well, I love calendula. In fact, my wife puts calendula on her face every night.
Is this a lotion?
It's the type she uses is a cream,
Okay.
and it not only does it smooth the skin and make it more supple, but also it can fight infections and.
Do you think
it's
that
a
they're
wonderful herb.
Yes.
Actually.
I'm going to need a little calendula for my hands in just a moment. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with some last words.
Hello! The job market is a competitive place. In today's economy, extra skills mean a better job for you. Speaking English is the skill you need for greater opportunity, more money, and a brighter future. Introducing Hello Channel, an exciting new television channel that teaches English as you watch TV. There's something for everyone, and the more you watch, the faster you'll learn. All you have to do is say hello.
Amazing information, fascinating. A book here by Dr. Logan Chamberlain. We believe you. Great information. But we're in a world of lots of skepticism. What can we do to change that?
I think we're going to really have to examine the information that the free press puts out there. They often report a lot of negative information, and just balance that out, because there is no doubt that the scientific research proves that herbs work. And then we had some wonderful stories today that prove that as well.
Yeah, Roby's story is fabulous. And you even made lifestyle changes.
Yes, I became a vegetarian and also try to reduce the stress that I have in my life and try to love more. And all those things really have helped.
Well, then, Amanda, this is really a holistic program that we're talking about here. Thank you all very much for being with us. Enjoyed the program. Thank you for joining us as well. We'll be here on Lifestyle Magazine next time. We invite you back. Bye now.